Everybody, for today's adventure, I'm in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Going to do an overnight backpacking trip. I'm parked near Smokemont campground. I've done a few backpacking trips from here before. They're on the channel. Today's adventure, I'm going to get on the Newton Bald Trail. Going to gain some serious elevation from the start, around 3,000 feet in 4 miles, to crest the ridge at the Newton Bald campsite where I've stayed the night before. And I'm going to go down in elevation to my campsite at Baumgardner Branch. I'm going to utilize several trails to make a loop. When it's all said and done, it shouldn't be more than 28 miles, at least according to my reckoning. It's supposed to be a good night tonight. The campsite is near Bryson City on Deep Creek in North Carolina, and the temperature is going down to 54 according to the forecast. Clear skies. Brought my tent for this trip. I was going to bring my hammock, but decided on the tent last minute. So I'm going to make the most of this trip. It's been a while since I've done a backpacking trip. I had a failed attempt 2 weeks ago on account of not being able to find any campsites, but in the Smokies, you reserve your campsites, so that's not a problem. So anyway, follow me along for this awesome journey. I forgot to mention, this 4-mile stretch to campsite 52 at Newton Bald is part of the Benton MacKay, and I didn't do this 4-mile section. When I spent the night there a couple years ago, I was going to come down to Smokemont, but I didn't want to regain all that elevation the next day on my way back because I was going back down the mountain the way I came, which was the other direction. So this will knock that out now. Boy, this trail's already giving me a workout. It's a good feeling. That's what it's all about. Just winding up the mountain. Pretty steep. Beautiful forest though. Rhododendrons and hardwoods. Everything's blooming pretty well down here too. Still not blooming very well above 4,500, 5,000 feet, but it's still only late April. That looks like a cave from down here. Welcome sight to see that the streams are still flowing. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but we're in a severe drought here in western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, and also includes the surrounding region. 2 weeks ago when I was on the Foothills Trail, most of the streams were dried up. So there's an active fire ban. We received a little rain last night, but it wasn't enough to offset the drought conditions. So guys, if you're coming to the area, recreate responsibly. No campfires until the fire ban's lifted. People are doing all kinds of crazy things right now, having unattended campfires in popular places like Black Balsam Knob, where they've already had a wildfire. And if you're familiar with Black Balsam Knob, you know it's one of the most popular day hikes in the area near Asheville, off the Blue Ridge Parkway in the Shining Rock Wilderness. Place I love. I just read that they had a lot of people there, the majority of whom had campfires, and they had stated when confronted about it that they didn't know that there was a fire ban. So guys, just do your due diligence and look into it before you come to the area. You might not want to take that chance because there's a fine. And I think it's 54 counties in western North Carolina have active fire bans. That guy gave me a little startle. I almost walked into him. I was not paying attention, I confess, and almost stepped on him. He is non-venomous, just a black snake, black rat snake, I think. But they're non-venomous. He's getting warmed up, so he's not active right now. It was a chilly morning, 50 degrees up here, probably a little chillier up here on the mountain because I'm almost 4,000 feet. But he didn't move. So it would have been my bad if I would have stepped on them. All right, I'm at an elevation of 4,500 feet now and 3.7 miles. I've climbed over 2,000 feet elevation, and you can see the vegetation is a lot more sparse up here compared to where I started at 2,200 feet. Spring is still struggling to arrive here in the higher elevations of the Great Smokies. It's a familiar sight. This campsite was my home for the night just a little over 3 years ago. And I had it all to myself too. It looks better this time of year because that was February and it was still in the dormancy of winter. Going down the Smokies Ridge Trail now. Losing a lot of elevation. Done this trail before. It's part of the Benton Mackay and the Mountains of Sea, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember that correctly. Past 3 other backpackers. They ended up getting rained on yesterday when all that rain moved into the area. Another backpacker I spoke to, he's doing a 7-day trip, and he got rained on too. And he had all his stuff strewn out on the hillside trying to dry it out. He said it was a yard sale as I was passing. Reached the trail intersection, getting off the Smokies Ridge Trail right there. And I'm modifying this hike as I go because it's turning out to be more miles than what I originally thought it was going to be. So I'm going down this trail right here, Martin's Gap, to Deep Creek Trail in 1.5 miles. So it'll be a better part of 3 miles less than what I was originally going to do by taking Martin's Gap. I think it was that one right there. All right, this is campsite 57, Bryson Place. I've stayed here before, but I believe it was there that I set up my hammock back in the fall of 2022. And there were 3 guys here. People always ask me how I remember stuff like that. It's just the way my brain works, I guess. I just remember things like backpacking and camping. Campsite 58. It's a pretty nice one too. This one's closer to the creek. That's Deep Creek. That's Deep Creek. It's a long way down. All right, well, there you have it. I'm all set up here at my campsite on Deep Creek, campsite 60. And I arrived at 6 o'clock. It was about 15 miles. That's about the time I was hoping I'd arrive, and I made my goal of arriving at 6 o'clock. So anyway, I'm gonna go and get some water and have some dinner and relax for the evening. Talk to you soon. Not too bad, you?
We're having a pretty good time. We got in here This morning.
I told him to say knock knock, but he said there was no tree to knock on.
I hear you. Where'd you come from?
We're just right there on the other side.
I mean, which trailhead did you come in at?
We come up
Creek,
Deep Creek.
right?
Did you?
Deep Creek. Yeah, we're just doing two nights or whatever.
Are you?
Yeah.
Staying the night here twice, 2 nights here?
Yeah.
Are you?
We're going to try our best to find the cemetery.
Oh yeah? I didn't know there was a cemetery nearby.
Well, we didn't either until last year we found it.
Last year we found it, but then
we found the sign going to it.
Right.
But we didn't make it all the way into it.
It's pretty steep. But it's back down. So did you come from this way?
Yeah, I came all the way from Smokemont, 15 miles.
Oh, I went horseback riding just over there
Did
a couple weeks ago.
Alright, it's around 4:40 in the morning. Getting up now. My plan is to leave here by 6. I slept okay. Never sleep great, but I slept okay actually, considering it's been a while since I've camped. But anyway, I'm going to get up and get some breakfast, take down my tent, and get back on the trail by 6. About to have some breakfast. I don't know if you can see that. Granola with milk and blueberries. And you don't even have to boil the water. Just add cold water. It's good to go like cereal. So anyway, that's got 500 calories. I brought a Celsius this time. Usually I make a mixed drink where I add pre-workout powder to water, but I brought the green apple cherry Celsius. I stopped at the gas station, got one. Quick and easy. So anyway, I'm gonna eat this and then take down the tent and get back on trail. So I got back on the trail at 6 a.m. like I had predicted. Now I'm hiking in the dark. Hiked 4/10 of a mile already. Waiting for a trail junction coming up. But yeah, it's gonna be another 15 miles today, or the better part of it. I could go 3 different routes, but I'm choosing the easier, not the easier, but the shorter route, because the longer route would be 16 miles and the longest route would be 17 miles. All right, 45 minutes back on trail, mile and a half in. I'm at the trail intersection. Came up this way, up the loop trail. Back in the fall of 2022, I went up Sunkota Ridge there, but I'm going to take the loop trail for another half mile to Indian Creek Trail, which I've not done, so that'll knock that section of trail off the list, and that'll run parallel to Sunkota Ridge back up to Thomas Divide. And I think that's the trail I'm going to remain on until I get to Thomas Divide. Then Thomas Divide will take me back to the campsite 52 at the Bald, and once I get there, it should be all downhill, because that's the way I came up yesterday. Alright, came down this trail junction from that direction, and I'm getting on Indian Creek Trail, 2.1 miles to Deep Low Gap Trail. I couldn't remember the name of it, and that'll take me to the Thomas Divide Trail. So it'll be 2.1 on Indian Creek Trail, 2.1 on Deep Low Gap Trail, and then 3 miles on Thomas Divide Trail, 7/10 of a mile to campsite 52, and then Newton Bald Trail will be 4.3 miles back to the car, so 12.2 miles, 14.2 total. That's what it should be from campsite 60. Alright, this is a cool find. So I saw a little side trail right off of Indian Creek Trail, and it's shows up on my map, on my Gaia map, as a short unnamed trail up a very steep hill. Little calf burner there. But this is an old cemetery, and the lady that was camped nearby at campsite 60 last night had mentioned it to me, that they were on a quest to find it. And I think she had mentioned that it was off Indian Creek Trail, but she said it doesn't show up on maps. But again, it showed up on my Gaia map as an unnamed trail, and it didn't have any name to it or anything. It just showed a little side trail, and I just took it up about 2/10 of a mile, not even, and here I am. So I'm gonna show it to you guys. This is probably from the original settlers in the Smokies, because these headstones look really old and you can't even read them. So I put some artificial flowers there. They look really old. Yeah, you can't read that. Wow. There's one headstone over here. It looks like it's in better shape. Let's see if I could read that. Uh, 1918. 1841 to 1918. Liza Connor Paris, wife of Alfred W. Paris. 1841, 1918. Wow. So this cemetery is at least just over 100 years old. Kitchen's baby. Wow. There's a lot of history in this national park. Very small cemetery. But what a cool find. Alright, took another side trail, and this showed up on the map as well. Unnamed, of course. 2/10 of a mile to the top of a steep hill. And it looks like the headstones are in better shape. So let's get a look. Some of these headstones are same condition as the last cemetery. But here you have some better headstones that are in better shape. 1870, 1928. $1920? Oh, I was just a baby. Only lived a year. 1928, infant daughter. Wow. A lot of infant headstones. Maybe that would explain why they're so small. I don't know. Maybe you guys could tell me in the comments. There's one that lived a full life, 1847 to 1902. There's an old wreath. A soldier boy born 1891. So he must have gone to World War I. If I'm not mistaken, the war was nearly over with by 1921. Okay, that looks like you're looking in a mirror with the text backwards or something. That's interesting. Gotta get to be a hole in the ground over here. Somebody doing something. Anyway, that's it. Just a longer presentation on a cemetery in better shape here in the Smokies. So I'm gonna get back down the trail, and hopefully there aren't too many other spur trails or diversions, because I still have a lot of miles to go and 3,000 feet of elevation to gain, only to go back down the mountain to 2,200 feet elevation. So I better get some steps made. Thankfully, all these creek crossings across Indian Creek have been on bridges like this, because it was about the third one. Wasn't really counting, but anyway, it's a beautiful creek. All right, I've made it to the trail intersection here, getting on Deep Low Gap Trail here on the right off of Indian Creek Trail. So this is 2.1 miles and 1,400 feet elevation gain up to the intersection with Thomas Divide Trail, and then it'll be another 1,000 feet of elevation gain up to campsite 52, and then another 300 feet elevation gain up to Newton Bald, and then I'll lose it all going back down to 2,200 feet from 5,100 feet. And so the 2,200 feet, of course, is at the car at Smokies-Smokemont campground. I finally made it to the Newton Bald Trail. Coming up that Thomas Divide and the Deep Low Gap Trail, that kicked my butt. It was 5 miles with almost 3,000 feet of elevation gain, and I'm already tired from doing that yesterday, coming up this trail. So anyway, 7/10 of a mile, and then I'll start going downhill for 4.5 miles. So that'll be a welcome reprieve. Back to Smokies-Smokemont campground, where my car is parked.